Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to run your Python file or even any file with a custom name. Let me just make this big. Just like the way package managers like npm, Node, Composer, and pip work. Just the same way those package managers work. So that's the same way what I'm going to be showing you is going to be working. So how can you achieve it? I'm on Windows now. I'm going to be showing you two ways that I can do it, one on Windows and one on Linux. Now I'm on Windows now. Oh, sorry. Sorry. So I want to be able to run this custom pyth.py with any name. Now if I copy it and run it and type custom pyth.py, as you can see it's working. But what if I cd to, let's say, the home directory and I try to run the same thing again? You see that it's not running. But I want to be able to run it with just polus, and I have created it. I have done it already. Now if I type polus now, you see that this same Python file that I ran here is going to run here. As you can see that is running here. Now if I cd into wamp, see that, and I run it again, polus, I see that is running. And now let's go to Linux, because I'm running Ubuntu operating system. Now the same thing, I created a folder with I created a polus.py. If I call polus.py, see that it's going to run and it's going to print hello world and how do you do. Now if I go back and I type and I run polus.py again, it's going to run. If I run this, it's not going to run. But if I run polus.py, you see that it's going to run. If I cd into anywhere, and I run polus.py, it's going to run. Okay, and I type polus.py, it's going to run. If I cd into anything again, let's say etc, and I run polus.py again, it's going to run. So this is what we are going to be doing in this tutorial. And before we go on, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and be blessed. Alright, let's go to the full tutorial now. Okay guys, so I've created a directory with the title of this tutorial, and everything I'm going to be doing in this tutorial can also work in any directory on your PC. Okay, now let's first of all create the Python file that we're going to be using. Let's create a Python file with the name custom pyth. Okay, first of all, let me restart this directory so that we're going to see that the directory is currently empty. Then let's create the Python file. On Windows, to create a file through the command line, you use Notepad. Then the name of the file that we want to create, Python pyth.py, custom pyth.py. Okay, yes, I want to create it. Now the first thing to provide is the shebang, then Python 3. What's the meaning of this? It means we are telling the command line, whenever we call this file to the command line, we are telling the command line that, hey, command line, before you start trying to understand the rest of this file, use this application which is called Python 3 to run the script under the shebang declaration. That's just the meaning. Then we are just going to be printing out two stuff, hello world, and again print how do you do. Okay, now we can, let's just exit. We are done with that. Now let me list out the directory. As you can see, the custom file is now available in the directory, and let me copy it and just paste it. Now if we call the custom file now, the Python file that we just created now, you see that it's going to run. See that it's going to run because that's the work of the shebang. Now the next thing we are going to do is we want to be able to call this file, because we're on Windows now. We want to be able to call this file with any name, maybe like just your name or whatever, then it's going to just run this Python file and print out the same thing. So that's the scope of this tutorial, and that stuff also works the same way package managers like pip, npm, composer works. That you're just going to call them to the command line, and they're going to and they're just going to work like that, and they're just going to try working. So that's the scope of this tutorial, and to achieve that we are going to create a batch file. We're going to use a batch file that is spelled like this, batch file. Now the batch file is the one that is going to be doing the magic for us. Now to do that, let's just go to the tutorial directory, and I'm going to create a new directory. I'm going to call it custom script bat. Okay, now let's go back to the command line and create a batch file. Let me list out the directory, and let's cd into this directory, and we're going to say cd. Oops, we're having two custom stuff now. Let's use custom then bat. Okay, now we're now in the directory. We're now in the directory now. Now let's create the stuff with the same notepad. Let's create the batch file now with the same notepad. With the notepad command. Notepad, let's just call it, I would like to call it Polosebi, but I already have a script name Polosebi. So I'm just going to call it polos.bat, so that it's just going to be working like magic. Okay, now in the batch file, what we just need to pass in is we are going to call python.exe. Then we are going to pass in the absolute directory to the script that we want to be executing, which is this is the absolute directory here. The absolute path. This is the absolute path. Then including the file name, which is this custom python.py. Then at the end, I'm just going to just put this at the end. Oh, sorry, not that. And save. Now we are done with the batch file. Now, because we are currently in the batch directory, let me just list out the directory. As you can see, the polos.bat is in the batch directory, is in the current directory that we are now. Now, let's try to type polos. I can see it just ran our custom Python file now. Just run the content of the Python file now. Just run the Python file. Now let's go out of the directory and let's type polos again. You see that polos is not recognized as internal stuff. Now to do this, to make it be recognizable, to make it recognized, we are going to add this Python script, the directory to this batch file. We are going to add it to the environment variable. I'm going to add it to path. I'm going to add it to path, just this. And let's create one here. Okay, now it's now going to work. It may not work because we need to restart this command prompt for it to be able to work. Now let's try it if it's going to work. Now it's still not working. Now let's open new command prompt. Let's open new command prompt. Now let's type photos. As you can see, it's working. Let's try to go to the root directory and type it photos. You see that it's working. If we should go to any directory too, let me just dir. Let me go to WAMP. Now let's call the photos again. Wow, yeah, it's working. Now it's working. Now we've achieved it on Windows. Now what about on Linux? Now this is Windows operating system, but I'm running Ubuntu on WSL. Now I'm just going to open a new command prompt. Now let me minimize this and maximize this. Okay, now let me open the Ubuntu operating system now. Okay, now we are now in Ubuntu operating system. Okay, let me just show you that. Let me confirm that I can see ls is working. We're now in Ubuntu operating system. Now let's go to the home directory and let me clear the screen so that there won't be any distraction. Now we are in the home directory. Now let's create a Python file. Let's just call it custom. We are going to use Vim custom, the same name, custom python.py. Okay, now Vim has opened our file. We've created the file and we'll open it with Vim. Now the same thing, we need to pass in the shebang and tell it that use this application, which is Python 3. Python 3. Now use it to run this script. Now we're going to be printing out the same hello world, then print again how do you do. Okay, now just write and quit. Okay, now our custom file has now been created. Now to run our custom file, I would love to list out this directory just to show you that it has been created, but I have some sensitive files in this current directory that I don't want to show to the public. So let's just try to run it. Custom python.py. Now it's going to run. Custom python.py is not working. Okay, let's do it this way. Permission denied. Okay, we need to change the permission. X custom bytes. I'm lazy. Let me just use regular expression. Now we've changed the permission. Now let's try to run it again. As you can see, it's now running. But let's go back to the previous directory, and let's run the file now. As you can see that it's not running. Custom bytes is not running. Now to make it work and to be able to run it anywhere in any directory, now let's go back home and let's create a new directory. I'm just going to call it, I'm going to make the directory, I'm going to call it, okay, let me just try to maximize this a bit. I'm going to call it YT video, YT example. then cd yt example. Okay, now we are now in the yt example. Now we need to copy. Let's just try to copy this same Python file, custom Python file, to this directory. Now it has been copied to this directory. Now let's see it. Now it's now available in this directory. Now let me print out this directory. Now I'm now going to copy it, and you are going to see the reason why I'm copying it just in a moment. Now we need to add this directory to the path again. Now how do we add it to the path? You can do it different way, but I'm just going to be editing the bashrc directory with vim. Okay. Let me remove this stuff now. Okay. Now export path. Now let me paste it. Then $path. Now let's save it. Right, and quit and false. Alright, now it's now available in our path, but let's try to run it again. Let's say custom bytes.py. Now it's running. Now it's not running because we need to restart the command. We need to restart the command prompt. But if we don't want to, what if we don't want to restart the command prompt? Now we can use source, then bashrc, just to make it configure what we just added to the path. Now it has been configured. Now we can now run it. I can see it's now running, but you might be thinking, we are still in the same directory. Okay, let's go back just to show you that we can run it anywhere. Now let's run it again. I can see it's still running. Now let's see the into user directory, and let's run it again. Okay, let me maximize it. Custom parts. I can see it's still running. So this is how to create to run your Python file, or even it can also work for any other files, maybe like PHP, PHP and other languages. Also, it can also work for them. So it can also work for them. Any file that can run on the command line, it can work for them. Now I hope this tutorial is helpful. Now if you like this tutorial, please give it a thumb up, and if you don't like it, just tell me in the comment section and I will surely apply your changes. And if you have any advice for me, leave it in the comment section. And please don't forget to subscribe. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe and be blessed. And just a closing note, this stuff is just the same way as the pip, npm and composer and the rest and so on. The package managers, this is the same approach that they work. They work just the same way. Now thank you, stay blessed. So don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you in the next tutorial.